Welcome.
to Dark Narratives. I'm Isabella.
And I'm Alexandria. It's been a hectic morning.
It's been a hectic morning. I just am trying to wrangle my children so I can listen to your story. But I did grab, guess what this is? You have to take a wild guess.
An energy drink.
Yep.
What
Sure
flavor?
is. This one is the Alani Orange Kiss.
Oh, that sounds yummy. I'm having black
Oh my
coffee.
gosh.
Yesterday I was everyone went golfing, so it was just me and the kids here, and I was trying to make sandwiches for the beach for later, and there was a black coffee. I thought it was a black coffee on the counter, and I was drinking it the
Uh-oh.
whole time, and then I realized it wasn't mine, and I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh my God, what if they put honey in it or something?" You know what I mean? I was just
Oh
freaking out.
yeah.
It was fine. Everybody else
Yeah.
drinks black
You're
coffee.
like, great. My entire day in my bikini is just ruined.
Yeah, fuck.
I'd be crying too. How is the weather super hot today?
Yeah, they've already gone to the
Mm.
beach, but it's fine. I'm
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to mosey on down before everybody gets there or after everybody gets there because you can have of just
Yeah.
a couple minutes of just quiet time. If you hear little clicks, guys, that would be my 1-year-old's Cheerios.
Aw,
So I hope it doesn't distract anybody, but
it's cute.
that's how I'm distracting him. But it was fine. It didn't hurt your stomach.
No, it was fine. But yeah, no,
Oh,
they're at
good.
the beach right now, but we're gonna go for lunch and then we'll come back, have dinner, and then go back out for after dinner when it's all
Oh
quiet,
my
like you
gosh.
said.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds so relaxing.
But yeah, today is
I
supposed to be
love that.
nice, and then it's supposed to rain again tomorrow. But anyways, it's fine.
Yeah. When are you
It's all
leaving?
on this Sunday.
On Sunday? Okay. I just got a Cheerio flinged at my face.
Being attacked.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get started.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so it's been oh.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'm ready to listen.
Get you some statistics. Okay, so first, it's been estimated that more than one-third of all newly married couples met online using dating websites, apps, or other social medias. I know I like doing cases where people meet online because I kind of am a bit fascinated by them.
No,
But
that's
here
okay.
we
I
are,
noticed I'm starting to do a lot of unsolved and
missing
missing
people.
people.
Yeah.
So I think it's just whatever we fall into.
Yeah, it's like what we're drawn to. It's weird, I know. In May of 2012, a Royal Air Force corporal in his early 30s, stationed in Los Samos Air Force Base at the northern east coast of Scotland, named Michael McDonough, was looking for love. So he decided to try his luck on Plenty of Fish, which I'm sure we're all familiar
Yes.
with. It appeared he hit the jackpot when he received a message from an attractive blonde in her early 20s studying in the University of Edinburgh named Stephanie Wilson. And right off the bat, it was a whirlwind romance with 5,000 messages being swapped in the month of
Whew.
June alone. And I'm thinking, like, when I wrote that, I'm like, well, do kids these days message even more than that, probably in a week? You know what I mean?
Probably.
But
Probably.
it's quite a bit. Soon the messages turned into phone conversations, and it was clear Michael had fallen for Stephanie. At this point, Michael considered Stephanie his girlfriend and wanted to meet in person, and she agreed. Then, just before their date to meet in person, Michael was contacted by Stephanie's mother, and she had terrible news. Stephanie had been injured in a violent altercation with her sister's ex-boyfriend, Jason, and the injuries were so serious, including a broken jaw, arm, cheekbone, and head injury that was causing her brain to swell.
Her mother calls this guy that she just met and
Let's get
is
back to
like
okay.
her brother-in-law attacked her.
Stephanie had been injured, yeah, by her sister's ex-boyfriend, who apparently was really violent, obviously, and we're not sure why. But yeah, he broke her jaw, arm, cheekbone, and had caused her brain to swell. The severities of
Jesus.
yeah, the severities of the injuries meant Stephanie needed to be moved to a hospital for plastic surgery, where they'd also be keeping a close eye on the swelling to her brain. Oddly, though, despite the seriousness of her condition, Stephanie continued messaging Michael from the hospital. At
That's
this time,
incorrect.
yeah, during this time, Michael, that is
That is so not correct.
yeah, during this time, Michael also began messaging and calling the rest of Stephanie's family, including her parents and her three stepsisters, getting to know them. And while all of this was going on, Stephanie's health continued to deteriorate and she suffered three heart attacks.
But she's just like messaging him?
Well, at this point too, he's messaging her mom and stepsisters.
Something's
Uh,
just super weird here.
Yeah, well, he received photos from the operating room showing him the heart surgery soon after starting communicating with Stephanie's doctors also. So like, yeah, so he's talking to her doctor, he's talking to her mom, like in his mind, he's in a committed relationship with this chick.
What the fuck? There, that he
Oh,
get
and
okay.
wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, how is he getting pictures of in like all of a sudden this friendship with the doctors become so well that the doctors were just snapping pics in the operating room?
Well, or they're coming from his her mom.
Okay.
But yeah, he's receiving real photos and everything. And
Okay.
also he's talking to Dr. Collins. Oh yeah, Dr. Collins is his doctor, and then as well as her primary nurse, Ashley. So he's got like he's been talking to Dr. Collins, nurse Ashley,
Hmm.
Stephanie, her mom, and then three stepsisters. Over the summer, Michael received almost 10,000 text messages from Stephanie and her family, and he was instructed to contact her closest friend, Linsey, because she was visiting Stephanie the most. This Linsey can come and see me, and so he's been given Linsey her contact information, and he actually met Linsey in person at her home.
Okay.
And so Michael meets Lindsay, Stephanie's best friend, at her home in
Hmm.
Adderwell. It's all over in the UK, Scotland, where she lived with her 14-year-old daughter, Lauren, and 10-year-old son, Jack. So now he's like, actually meeting some people in person for once.
Right, okay.
And just when it seemed like the bad news was never ending, in a twist of positivity, Lindsay told Michael that Stephanie had been selected to participate in a clinical trial for a groundbreaking new stem cell treatment.
Now
This
she needs
is,
a stem cell okay.
yeah, well, because so I guess because of the brain
There's so
damage,
much going on.
the
Okay.
brain swelling, yeah, like her health just keeps deteriorating. Like it's,
Right.
yeah, she's not having a good time over
She's
here.
not.
A treatment created by a pharmaceutical company called Biotech Scotland. The treatment looked extremely promising in helping her recover from her injuries. Lindsay, who had been granted power of attorney over Stephanie's care, said they would be using the stem cells to treat Stephanie's condition. So Michael was hopeful that the pioneering treatment would help Stephanie recover, and he asked Lindsay if he would be able to visit her because he still hasn't met her in person yet.
Just her family or just some of her people around her.
Well, he hasn't,
Like
he's only
Lindsay.
talked to them. Yeah, Lindsay is the only person he's met.
He's met.
And
Okay.
yeah, so Lindsay told him that they had to sign a confidentiality agreement, and Stephanie was being moved to a different hospital, so she couldn't have visitors. So he had to sign this confidentiality agreement because of this highly kind of secretive biotech
Right.
clinical thing that was going on, and it was this new stem cell
Sounds
whole
scary.
yeah, so she was going to be the first person to try this because her
Hmm.
condition was so serious. And the family, Stephanie's family, kind of had an idea that might solve the problem of Michael not being able to visit her because
Hmm.
right now he's not able to. But they're like, if you guys were engaged, biotech might allow him to visit, right? Because oh, this
Yeah.
is wife or whatever. So
Right.
Michael ended up purchasing a princess cut diamond ring. And okay, this is how much I did the conversion because back in 2012, it was 18,070 pounds, which was 3,500, so $3,500 Canadian. So that's in 2012. Today, that's almost a $5,000 ring that
For
he
somebody
sent
he's
her.
never met.
Yeah, in hopes that he can go and visit her. The
Because like a five
contract.
thousand dollar ring, like okay, that's great. That's a nice ring, but for somebody you've never met, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
trip to Mexico and a nice and all inclusive.
Exactly. Wow. To get
So
to know each
he,
other better, except she got really hurt.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Which at this point, like if she's so fucking brain dead that she needs to do this stem cell thing, when you move on, there's plenty of fish out there.
exactly. Well, and you could be like, and even her fam, I don't know. I feel like you would, if you care about somebody, you'd want them to have a life.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, you'd be like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, you could
Right.
literally block them and never worry about it ever again because they don't know where you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's your husband or your wife that is got into this terrible accident. You're gonna obviously stick by them. It's somebody you've never met in real life. You've just sparked up a great pen pal relationship.
Yeah. Well,
You could be
obviously,
her
really
friend.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit,
Like,
hey.
yeah, he seriously has seriously fallen for her. Seriously.
That's stressful.
Seriously.
Yeah. Seriously.
Seriously.
Seriously,
Um,
you're gonna be my wife, is
he's
what
so
he's thinking.
serious. Yes. And so she actually sent him a photo. So he said he mailed it to her and she got it to the
The ring.
hospital. Yeah, and making them official. Stephanie sent Michael a close-up photo of the ring on her finger to prove that she'd received it. He's like, okay, sweet,
But
we're
wait, she's
engaged.
brain dead.
Well, no, she's not brain dead. Her
Wait,
brain
no, sorry,
was
she's not brain dead. But wait, she's had multiple heart attacks and a broken jaw and everything. Okay, you go. You know what? You go on. I'm envisioning her in the hospital
her
bed.
brain was started to swell, but I I don't know how bad it got because you can
Right.
I guess they can mitigate that, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
they were watching the swelling, but no, she didn't get any brain
Okay.
damage, but she did, yeah,
So
have
she was
three
still
heart
able to
attacks.
obviously figure it out. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
now
you could
she's got this engagement ring.
so now she's still in the hospital while they're doing the stem cell treatment. She's got this ring, still in the hospital. Stephanie encouraged Michael to become close with Linsey. And if he ever questioned or doubt her for even a second, her entire family were quick to corroborate whatever she said. Before long, Stephanie even convinced Michael to take Linsey and her children on a 2-week vacation together to Newcastle. He paid for
What?
a whole trip like,
For her friend
for
Lindsay and her kid.
yeah, and her kids. Because
Whoa.
I'm not sure why, but she convinced him. And he was like, hey, I love her. Her friend is helping her so much. She's letting, making me be closer to Stephanie if I do this, is what he's
Oh,
thinking.
wow.
And then following that, wouldn't be long before Michael made the decision to move in with Lindsay and the kids in their home in
Whoa. I don't
Ottawa.
know
Yeah.
anything about this, and it's red flag right from the beginning.
Well, so in his mind, the move allowed him to stay more up to date on Stephanie's condition since Lindsay was the
Hmm.
only person. Lindsay was the hospital's point of contact regarding her treatment. Michael believed everything and felt like she was doing everything. She was doing everything. Oh, he was doing everything he could to help the love of his life. And he continued
Right.
receiving thousands of text messages. But yeah, so he felt moving in with Lindsay would keep him, closer to
And
her
while he
and
did that, he kept in contact with Stephanie
with,
while she was in the hospital. But at this point, only Lindsay could visit her,
yeah, because
even
she's
though they're
been,
engaged now. Okay.
yeah, because she was what, the power of attorney.
What an
So
interesting thing, too, that this friend Lindsay is the main contact and the one that's handling everything, even though apparently her mom and sisters are also in the
Yeah,
picture
why can't he
still.
meet her mom?
Right? Like
So
that's just, and why is this Linsey person taking care of everything?
and
It's
it
just
gets even
crazy.
weirder because things take a dark turn when Michael came to learn that one of biotech's doctors had tried to kill Stephanie by administering a poison.
What?
Shocked and confused, like you are, also terrified of losing the person he loved, Linsey told him the reason was that biotech would receive £100 million if all of the patients in the clinic trial died, and the government was trying to brush the scandal under the rug, a conspiracy of silence and massive cover-up.
What?
Yeah,
She's
so
like the
this
most unlucky person in the entire world.
yeah, so apparently this whole biotech thing is like a massive scam by the government. They're just trying to pick half almost dead
Wow.
people and say
Yeah.
like we're gonna help you and then kill them and be like, oh, it didn't help and then make all this money.
And I'm just remembering that this all stemmed from her sister's ex-boyfriend. What an outrageous, oh, an
Pale
outrageous,
twist.
yes, yes, to start all of this.
Michael was also told and believed that because of the supposed confidentiality agreement Stephanie had signed, if he told anyone about it, he would be sent to prison. She said a
Oh,
media blackout prevented anyone from reporting on the case. So there's like a reason for everything why he hasn't heard about anything.
okay.
Michael is very much invested in
Like this
this. He's
poor guy.
Well, yes, this entire ordeal caused Michael's serious personal distress. His
Well,
physical health
yeah.
was affected so bad. He quit his job with the Royal
Mhm.
Air Force, taking care of his fiance he'd never officially met in person. Just remember that.
Oh my gosh, I just feel terrible because he is just trying to, as outlandish as it is, in him going along with, oops, him going along with this, I feel like he's trying to just be a good person.
Yeah. And I mean, he's getting follow-ups and pictures and,
Yeah,
it's all very much real in,
yeah.
what he's receiving.
Well, like
He
every time he thinks that he's about to think something's wrong, something comes up and he takes his mind off of it.
Yeah, something new happens. It's like a new thing
Yeah.
unfolds. He was increasingly desperate to visit Stephanie in the hospital, but Biotech Scotland kept moving their patients from hospital to hospital, apparently a necessary part of their secret stem cell therapy. And because of this, Stephanie never knew which hospital she was going to be at or for how long, making in-person visits impossible to schedule. This point, he's all fucked up. He had to quit his job, right? He's so stressed out. Everything
Mm-hmm.
keeps getting worse and worse. So he
Yeah.
breaks down and he turns to his mom for advice, Margaret McDonough, a 52-year-old divorced mother of five adult children, including Michael. And she'd become a foster parent and was currently fostering two little kids too. So
Aw,
his mom, he's like, oh, I need to talk
I
to my
love
mom.
that. Yeah.
Like a really good person. Desperate for
Yeah.
someone, exactly, and desperate for someone to give him advice. Michael turned to his mom, who told him that she should support his girlfriend, now fiance, in any way he could. That's what she told him. You need to, if you love her, you need to
Mm-hmm.
support, or you should support her. You've already invested this much. You obviously care.
Does she
And so
know that he never met her, or
I don't know.
did she, is she just thinking, well, they're together, you can't just leave her, and that's kind of the basis of what she knows. But
Probably.
oh man.
He's probably shown her photos and also she
Mm-hmm.
grew up or in a different time. She probably doesn't understand plenty of fish. Maybe yeah, he never told her
Right.
that's how he met
And
her.
when was this again?
2012.
Okay. Yeah.
But his mom's 52 in
Right.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
we
who,
get
yeah,
different.
like we say, who really knows what extent he's told her? Because the when you hear that, you're gonna tell anybody, well, you can't just leave your wife or your fiance just because something happens. But if you don't have the whole story,
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
true.
that's tough.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know if he told her that he's never met her. That's a
I
good
would
point.
assume I would assume she doesn't know everything.
That makes sense because I feel like, but also we grew up in different eras, but yeah, that definitely makes sense that she
Yeah.
wouldn't have known. And
Hmm.
then, well, so then Margaret, his mom, then consulted her best friend about it, who was actually her own 23-year-old daughter, Nicola. And the two had been an extremely close relationship. They were more of like best friends instead of mother and daughter. And this is his sister.
Right.
So
Hmm.
now his mom and his sister both know. And so just a bit about Nicola. She was involved in an independent living charity out of Glasgow called Cosgrove Care and had just graduated with honors from the University of West of Scotland with her degree
Wow.
in social work.
Oh,
They're very much want to help people, both of
right,
them.
yeah. Very, very kind, like very kind-hearted people.
Yeah, and I'll tell you more about them later on. But at this point in the story, when Stephanie learns about Michael and what he'd done, she became enraged. She said that breaking the why can't I say that word? Confidentiality agreement
There you go, yeah.
made there
There you go.
uh, breaking the confidentiality agreement meant that the chance she got with his new trial were compromised and she'd no longer be a candidate. The chance that Stephanie got in this stem cell trial were compromised and she'd no longer be a candidate because he broke that agreement, right?
All
He
because of
wasn't supposed
him,
to tell
she
him anyone.
says.
Yeah. And
Mm.
then she said that his mother and sister would be facing lengthy jail sentences. Yeah, so this is where it gets a bit complicated, as if it hasn't been thus
Yeah,
far.
right?
During this during this whole time, Lindsay started to get close to Michael and his family even now, so regularly visiting their home in Paisley near Glasgow, or side note, where my dad is from.
Oh.
Um, during her visit, Lindsay would tell the family how dangerously sick Stephanie was, and eventually telling them about Biotech's murderous plot to kill her. So this Lindsay, who he moved in with, is getting close with his own mom and his sister, and yeah, obviously his mom is going to be hearing everything directly from Lindsay and
Right.
hearing what Michael has to say. She was probably for sure you need to support your fiance.
Right.
This sounds serious. Lindsay told Margaret and Nicola the only hope for Stephanie was through a European Court of Human Rights. In order to involve the Human Rights Court, Lindsay told Margaret and Nicola that they needed to write official letters to the court describing the mental anguish that Michael was experiencing because of biotech. Both his mom and sister agreed and wrote their letters supporting Michael. And shortly after, Nicola received a letter in the mail from Stephanie, seemingly appalled and unsatisfied by Nicola's efforts. It read, "Your big brother had asked for your help, and it's become apparent that you could not be bothered to give it a go. Enjoy your life, Nicola, while I struggle with mine. Bye."
Oh, sorry. His sister wrote what?
No, okay. Because they broke this confidentiality agreement,
Yeah.
and then they were facing lengthy jail sentences. Lindsay
Yeah.
told Margaret and Nicola the only hope for Stephanie to get back onto this trial was through the European Court of Human Rights.
Yeah.
So he
Mm-hmm.
was like, you guys need to write a letter to the Human Rights Court pleading
Mm-hmm.
for help and saying how much mental anguish that Michael was
Yeah.
experiencing because of biotech and
Mm-hmm.
trying to, convince them that
Yeah.
like they need to step in and help. So they agreed to write these letters about her son and then Nicola's brother saying like how much my brother had lost his job and
Oh, I see.
he's
Yes. Okay.
stressed and this. So then Nicola apparently received a letter in the mail from Stephanie saying she was
I see.
appalled by what Nicola had written. and saying your big brother had asked for your help and it's become apparent that you could not be bothered to give it a go. Enjoy your life, Nicola, while I struggle with mine.
Oh my. Okay, now I see. I was like, who did that come from again? But I see Stephanie wrote it to his sister and was pretty much okay. I see what you're
Yeah, and
saying.
she was,
Wow.
your letter was crap.
Poor me.
That didn't help. Fuck you, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
It's, it's also very complicated. But okay,
Jesus.
it's gonna start to get crazy.
This is already fucking crazy. Because this people really do this. And well, this is a true case, but this happens more often than not. People just come up with these elaborate schemes.
And
This is
so
already
then
so bizarre.
it's getting super weird. Michael, on the other hand, he was sympathizing with his fiance about the letters, saying your letters were shit, and he was upset with his mom and his sister not trying hard enough and everything. And so now they all know about this biotech. Margaret, his mom, and his sister Nicola, they're all subject to the strict confidentiality. I can't say that word properly.
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality clause. If they tell anyone about Stephanie or biotech, they would be severely punished by the government or worse. Nicola, however, had revealed the saga to her recent ex-boyfriend, and when Linsey found out about it, she flew off the handle. So now Nicola has broken this confidentiality agreement, and also Michael, when he found out that Nicola talked to her ex-boyfriend about it, he's all pissed too, and Stephanie's entire family. So the confidentiality agreement had been breached once again, and Margaret
Sorry
and
to
Nicola were
interrupt you,
responsible.
but
Yeah.
you would think that she's in the CIA or something and she got hurt while working overseas and nobody can find out her identity and
Well, yeah,
that's what it
it's
sounds like.
and then if they tell anybody about biotech, they're gonna be
Yeah.
punished and everything, and it's all getting super fucking weird and
Yeah.
confusing, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
In messages to Stephanie, Michael was absolutely fuming. He told her he'd never be able to forgive his family for what they had done, putting him at risk for legal trouble and worse, putting her life in further danger at the hands of biotech. And Stephanie responded by saying, quote, your mother knew fully well what she was doing. I can't forgive her, and I want your sister to be punished. She can't be trusted, and she thinks nothing of destroying people's lives. Inside, she's a mess, which is horrible to say. So
Yes.
on May 7th, 2013, Linsey went to Michael's family home. This has been going on for 1 year now at this point because he met her on Plenty of Fish in 2012
Yeah.
in May. So this is During her visit, Linsey came to tell Margaret and Nicola the consequences they were both facing for breaching the confidentiality agreement because they each committed a serious crime. She told them that they were each facing 20 years of a prison sentence. And after she left, Margaret and Nicola were freaking the fuck out. Reportedly, Margaret was so beside herself, she became physically sick, like
Oh
puking and
my
everything.
God.
This woman freaked them out so much.
Of
And so
course.
after, yeah, and 20 years in prison for just because told her ex-boyfriend about this
Exactly.
crazy bullshit that's happening. After this, they started receiving messages from Stephanie's lawyer named Callum. According to Callum, he believed he could make charges go away for a fee of £5,000, which is about $10,000 Canadian.
Oh my God. Don't worry. I know you're facing 20 years in prison, but if you just give me $10,000, I mean, poof, gone.
Yeah, I can fix it for
As
you. Make the charges
yeah.
go away for 10 grand. Unfortunately, the McDonald's didn't have a ton of cash laying around.
Hmm.
Margaret reportedly had about 239 pounds in her bank account. Oh, and a small car, a small family car, a Valhalla Astra. Wait, I don't know. I looked it up, but it's just a small car. It's worth about £4,000. So even if she sold her car and emptied her
Hmm.
accounts, it wouldn't be enough to cover it. So when she
Brutal.
told the lawyer Callum this, he suggested fleeing the country, and Callum claimed he could provide both Margaret and Nicola with fake passports if they paid him £500.
Oh
So a
my
thousand bucks basically.
God.
Yes, the women had three options. Option A was go to prison for 20 years. Option B was try to scrape up £5,000. Or C, flee the country using fake IDs, never to return.
And all for something that's not even fucking real.
But they don't know. But this is,
But they don't know
well,
that. But in hindsight, it's, are you kidding me? You've
yeah.
uprooted my life because you are, wow.
Well, so far, nothing has come out that is not real, right? They're
True.
getting letters from the government. They're
It's
seeing
true.
pictures. They're talking to a lawyer. They're fucking freaking out. 3 days later, on May 10th, 2012, it was almost 7 a.m. at the Premier Inn on the banks of the Firth of Clyde and Greenock. One guest noticed something strange passing through the hotel's hallways. A figure slumped against the wall outside of room 25. As they got closer, the guests saw to their horror that the young woman was covered in blood and a trail
What?
led back to her room.
What?
Staff members were quickly alerted and ran down the corridor, and when they entered room 25, they found another woman badly injured. She was alive but barely breathing, and paramedics were called to treat a young woman who was bleeding profusely. Inside a room nearby, a second casualty, a female with slash marks on her arms. It was 52-year-old Margaret McDonough in the hotel room, while her 23-year-old daughter Nicola was in the corridor, and the pair were rushed to the Royal Hospital for treatment. Officers were sent to the scene, and unfortunately, sadly, a few hours later, Margaret McDonough passed away as a result of her injuries, and Nicola barely holding on in critical condition. She was being treated in the intensive care unit. Initially, investigators thought whoever had done this to the McDonoughs would have been captured on the hotel security camera. And when they reviewed the footage and learned that no one else entered the room where Margaret and Nicola had been staying, it was hoped that Nicola would soon recover enough to tell them what had happened. Both women suffered horrific injuries to their arms, and if the mom had survived, she would have had to have her arm amputated. They were so bad.
What the fuck?
They found these two women with like they slashed their fucking wrists.
What is going on
So
here?
they made a suicide pact because they were like, we
Right.
don't have $10,000 to
Oh my
pay.
God.
We can't flee the like I don't want to flee the country and never return, start over. What the fuck? They've made a suicide pact.
Wow. That's terrible.
Both arms were slashed from the wrist to the top, and her daughter had similar injuries, which stopped at the top
Oh
of her
my
lower
God.
arm. They had also taken a massive amount of paracetamol.
To be able to
Um,
do this to themselves.
yeah, they drugged
Wow.
themselves so that they wouldn't wake up basically, and then I don't know if
Like wake
the
up in
mom,
excruciating pain.
but they slit their arms so
Wow.
bad they would have been had to amputate them
That
if they
is
survived.
that is so intense.
Yeah, all because of this fucking ruse of a biotech bullshit.
That's terrible.
Everyone is like, what the fuck? Because nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
These women didn't have any history of depression or anxiety. Margaret
Mhm.
was well known and well liked in the town of Paisley, where she raised her 5 children. The youngest of
Mhm.
her children was 20 years old, and Margaret just took two nursery aged foster children, a boy and a girl. She was also a
Oh.
long-standing member of the Liberal Democrat Party and previously ran as a candidate in the local elections. On a leaflet she distributed while canvassing for votes, Margaret mentioned how she, quote, saw firsthand the needs of every vulnerable children in her care and their families, and
Oh.
would like to be able to take some of that knowledge into the decision-making process of the council. So she cared
Yeah.
about, kids and her community. A fellow
Yeah.
party member, Eileen McCartan, said, my sympathies go out to her family and to Nicola, especially in the hope that she will recover. I have known Margaret for many years, and she was a strong woman, very committed to all she did, both personally and within politics, and her death is a tragic loss to us all.
So just there's no reason that she would have done this other than this ruse because she had so much going on.
Yeah,
That's
well,
so
and
sad.
nobody knows what the fuck, nobody knows anything yet.
Just out of
They're so
nowhere.
confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nicola had just finished her studies at the University of West Scotland. She had plans with her friends to celebrate their graduation. So she had plans to go on vacation with her friends to Switzerland. And
and
Margaret's
then does
neighbor
this. Yeah, no.
and then does this. Margaret's neighbor, Scott Brown, had last seen her on the morning of Thursday, May 9th. She said, I waved her in her car and she waved back. She had gone into the house for a few minutes earlier and had gone straight out. Margaret seemed fine and didn't detect any anxiety. I was in the front garden at the time. She was a great friend and a neighbor, and Nicola, also a lovely girl. There are also three sons, and they are just a lovely family. As Nicola remained in critical condition, unfortunately, though, the 23-year-old would succumb to her injuries and died while in
Oh
hospital.
man, so fucking young.
Friends of the family spoke and said they were in total disbelief because they had gotten on great and there were no problems in the family that they knew about. It's terrifying. No one seems to have any idea how this could have happened. Detective Inspector David
That's a scene.
Wagstaff.
Like just to interrupt you here, that is a scene. Just a mother and daughter just brutalize themselves
Well,
and
and
nobody knows what the hell's going on.
And nobody knows, did she cut her wrists and then her daughters, or do you know
Right.
what I mean? Like how
Yeah. Or did they do it at the same
gruesome.
time? Like, yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
and I can't imagine just doing that to yourself.
Yeah.
Just like think of how deep, oh,
Or
how much
just
that would
even having to
hurt.
have that conversation together. Well, there's no way out, there's no other way out of this.
Yeah, they just decided.
Oh man.
Inspector David Wagstaff from Police Scotland was put in charge of the case, and during the initial stages of the injury, he spoke with the press as his team tried to piece together the events before Margaret and Nicola were found. We know that both women were in the Paisley area around 9 a.m. on Thursday because Margaret dropped her foster son off at the day home. Detectives were trying to establish their movements, and they were unable to establish whether there are suspicious circumstances. Detective Wagstaff revealed that there had been several sightings of Margaret and Nicola in the area, and they were reportedly later seen in a red-colored Suzuki Swift car. So they're trying to basically piece together their day, and they're saying
Yeah.
that they saw them at 3:50 p.m. on the Thursday, and then hotel guests were questioned by the police about their movements and what they had seen. One said, I
Right.
arrived on Thursday night. I awoke the next morning to find police everywhere. That I'm just thinking, wouldn't they be screaming as they were cutting themselves, or they're just too drugged out?
Well, I don't know because my thoughts is that they were like, okay, there's no other way out of this. I feel like they would have taken these drugs in order to be able to withstand doing that to themselves and also not wake up from like shock.
Or
So,
go, and
you
maybe
know
they
what?
went into shock.
Yeah, exactly. And, maybe they put something in their mouths.
Oh, yeah, so they wouldn't scream.
I don't know.
Damn it. It's just so brutal.
Like, that's a
Uh,
very brutal scene.
yeah, and with, you know how we always say with women, usually they don't do such a uh, horrific, I guess, way when they kill
Yeah.
themselves, it's
Like to
more
cut your hands, to
poison
cut your arms enough that they might have to be amputated. That is insane.
all the way from the elbow to the wrist. Just imagine just putting a knife, like just
And
cutting
and
your
you have to
arm
like
right out,
hold it down.
cutting through all those
Oh,
tendons.
oh my God.
The officers did their due diligence and they actually took mouth swabs from everyone that were they interviewed at the hotel.
Mhm.
And her Uncle John, spoke with reporters saying, we're completely at a loss. No one knows anything, not a clue. I don't know why they would be in Greenock. Detective Chief Superintendent Alan Spears said that the police were unable to establish whether there were suspicious circumstances, but they were treating the incident as unexplained. He added there was no one else in their company, and we are still trying to piece together what has happened. Detective Wagstaff said, at a present, we are keeping an open mind on the circumstance. However, we can confirm that we are not looking for any third party at this time. I would urge anyone with information, however insignificant it might seem, to get in touch with the police. Nicola clung to life, but yeah, I already said that she died. But before she died, her father, Thomas, never left her bedside, and police waited for her to regain consciousness, hoping to question her to help them
Oh,
understand what had happened in the hotel room. And then 3 days after, they were found seriously wounded on May 13th. 23-year-old Nicola succumbed to her injuries. A friend of the family spoke with a reporter for the Daily Record and described how close the mother and daughter were. They loved each
Yeah.
other. They were in total disbelief because they got on great and there was no problems in the family. The paracetamol that they took, it can't
Yeah.
be bought in large quantities because I think you could overdose on that. And so they had to go from shop to shop to buy the max each time. They
Enough.
shopped
So the
around.
amount that they took, that is crazy. Oh my God, that's so sad.
And Nicola's ex spoke to reporters and described how clever and bright Nicola was, someone who never appeared unhappy. The most important clue came in when it was discovered that Margaret had made a trip to a lawyer's office the day before her death. She was preparing her will. She wanted her estate to be split among the three sons, and strangely, Nicola was not included in the will. Law enforcement realized that the most likely explanation was that Margaret and Nicola had entered into a suicide pact together. But why? They planned this. Like, can
Hmm.
you imagine thinking about this for days?
Well, that's just it. She's like, okay, well, no, I don't need to put her on this because she is going with me.
But like
Oh my
think
God.
about being 23 and you just finished university, you've got your whole life ahead of you, and then you're planning to end it
With your
just
mom, no
with your
less.
mom.
I don't even know how you get to that point. I mean, that's terrible.
And how a mom could be okay with that. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in
I
it,
really
but
don't. Yeah, I really don't. I don't. I really can't even wrap my mind around that. What she must be thinking at that point.
they must have thought they were in some serious shit.
Well, yeah,
So,
they no way out.
yeah, can you imagine being that fucking scared? Back to Michael and Stephanie. On the day after Nicola's passing, Michael received a shit ton of messages from Stephanie urging him to let Linsey into his bed. Stephanie was still clinging to life in the hospital and insisted that if Michael let Linsey sleep in the bed, it would somehow lower Stephanie's blood pressure and thus help them improve their health.
Okay.
And although both of them kept the clothes on, Michael let Linsey lay next to him, cuddling and kissing him. It's like it just keeps getting more and more strange.
Well, this Lindsay
Um,
chick is just out to fucking lunch.
what the hell? And anyways, when police started digging into Margaret and Nicholas' family, they started to learn about Margaret's son Michael and his relationship with Stephanie. So they decided they were going to start questioning Stephanie. And
Hmm.
as it turned out, 22-year-old Stephanie McLaurin wasn't hard to find. She was at home. She was at home that she shared with her husband Jamie, not in a hospital bed.
Okay.
So they looked at the picture of the Stephanie that Michael is thinking he's talking to. They find her
Yeah.
at home with her husband. CID officers quizzed her at length about her relationship with Michael, Michael's mother, Margaret, and his sister Nicola, and Stephanie denied knowing the McDonough family at all.
What the
Forensic,
fuck?
she's like, I have no fucking clue who Michael is. I'm at home
Oh
with my
my God.
husband. They took her phone and began looking at activity on her IP address. And after reviewing the
I feel like you'd think you were going insane for a second.
just imagine officers standing there and being like, what the fuck are we getting ourselves into?
That is insane.
Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? They're
She's
like,
just sitting there like
holy
having
fuck.
breakfast with her family. She's like, "What are you even talking about?"
Oh, could you
No.
imagine?
No, okay, just a side tangent here. I was watching some of those train wreck shows that have come on Netflix, and the one
Yeah.
about Project X where she put her address in and she accidentally pressed public, and then it was too late, and then everybody was from everywhere, people she didn't know, was RSVPing to come to this party. So she tries to shut it down, but then some guy on the internet is like, "Well, I'm going to keep the party going for fun, so it's funny." And so he makes an invite with her address, and people are saying that they're coming. And now the family's like, oh my God, there's thousands of people coming to our house. We don't know what to do. That is terrifying.
So terrifying. Oh, yeah. What do you do at
Like
the
people
point
just
everyone has
using,
your.
yes, people using your address or your face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just like
She used her
fuck
face.
off.
Oh my
Oh, that's so
God, it's so.
scary.
After reviewing the data, they felt things did not add up. Stephanie was asked if it was possible someone had used her name and photographs to create a fake dating account, to which she said yes. Her identity had previously been used to create a Facebook page by her mother's stepsister, Linsey Motherfucking Cotton. On May
Are you
22nd,
kidding me?
that's her mother's stepsister.
That is shame. I mean, shame already on Lindsay, but Jesus, dude, you really are just a terrible person.
Mhm. And on May 22nd, 2013, investigators went to Linsey Cotton's home in Adderall and seized 15 mobile phones, two laptops, and two tablets. She had 15 fucking different cell phones.
That's insane. I barely even want to be on my one cell phone.
No.
What the hell?
You imagine walking into a room and seeing, and they're probably flip, half of them are flip phones at that point, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just seeing like this room with, could you imagine that? Like
Oh, just
15
having so
fucking
like that's
phones?
like your full-time job is stealing identities.
Yeah. What the hell?
That
Um,
is absurd. No, no. That gives me anxiety just thinking about having that many phones. Like my one phone stresses me out sometimes.
well, that's just it. I was just thinking, could you imagine them all going off at once? And they're
No,
also
I'd run
you?
away. I'd run away.
Be paralyzed. But on top of that, she had two different laptops and two tablets too. On May 22nd, a little more than a week after Nicola's passing, police arrived at her home. Like I said, they arrested her. They took all her phones, tablets, and computers to carry out this elaborate hoax, right? So we're all,
Mhm.
now it's for sure. And for a while, Lindsay denied any wrongdoing.
Of
She
course she
just
did.
denied it. Every single person was made up, right? In her story
Yeah.
she's
Hmm.
created. She created Stephanie. She made up the story about her being beat up by her sister's ex. Remember when you were like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
She pretended to be Stephanie's entire family, her doctor, her nurse, the Callum, the lawyer who said, "Oh, if you give me 10
That is
grand, I'll make the charges go
horrifying.
away." So what's even more fucked up is when Lindsay was pretending to be Stephanie and everyone else to Michael. The
Yeah.
real Linsey Cotton, was telling everyone that Michael was her fiance, even posted that picture of the engagement ring he thought he was buying for
Oh
Stephanie,
my God.
who is actually Lindsay, to Facebook, claiming to be engaged to Michael herself.
And why didn't she just, as Lindsay, meet Michael? Do you know what I mean? Why did she?
She'd seen Michael around, but he was not interested in her. So she wanted to somehow, he wasn't attracted to her. So he wanted to
Mhm.
somehow get him attracted to her and
Well,
get
like
like
infiltrate
weasel
his
her way.
life.
Yeah, and weasel her way in there because she knew he'd never go for her.
Any way that he turns, anywhere he is, I'll just be available
Yeah.
and hopefully he will like me. That is crazy.
And then she was telling she was keeping this ruse up, and Lindsay maintained to her family and friends for an entire year that her and Michael were a couple. She even got Michael to take them on vacation, remember? She was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Stephanie would want you to do this."
Yeah, that
And
was absurd.
he even moved in and everything. People believed that Michael was her fiance. And over the course of the year, Michael had given Lindsay £5,000, which is 10 grand, a
Mhm.
BlackBerry, and an iPhone. He'd also painted her house, fixed the flooring, and installed new skirting boards on her house.
What? So to everybody else, it looks like he would be her boyfriend.
Her fiance, yeah, she even had a
Her fiance,
ring.
yeah. Jesus.
2 years later, in 2015, Lindsay pled guilty to fraud and falsely threatening the McDonoughs with prison time, never facing any charges for Margaret and Nicola's death. During Lindsay's sentencing, the judge sentenced her to 3 years in prison, to only 3 years in prison, saying, you created fictitious persons, not just the false online dating profile and persona in the name of Stephanie Wilson or Johnson. No, you created a series of fictitious persons to dupe the McDonoughs. None of these persons existed. They were all fictitious, a fantasy, a lie. Your false threats that Margaret McDonough and Nicola McDonough would be imprisoned for 20 years should be condemned by any reasonable person. It is clear from the terms of the agreed crowned narrative that you were determined both Margaret and McDonough and Nicola McDonough should be punished. You wanted both of them out of the way, no matter what it took to do that. Whatever your motives may have been, your conduct was wholly unjustified, wicked, and as I have already stated, you have been cruel to a number of persons who were vulnerable. That was a quote from the
Oh
judge.
my God. That's so true though.
So you're just fucking bitch, basically.
Yeah, like fuck you. You're a garbage person. How could you do this to people?
The judge is basically saying, you're not being charged for their death, but it's your fucking fault.
Like what the fuck?
More
Oh
than
my God.
150 witnesses had been prepared by the prosecution, including Lindsay's children. There was one witness in particular who knew all about Lindsay's heinous games, and his name was Gordon Johnstone. In 2011, the year before Michael met Lindsay, Gordon met Lindsay through his neighbor. Lindsay told him that her niece had seen him around the neighborhood and had a crush on him. She then showed him a photo of an attractive young blonde woman who Lindsay said was Stephanie. Lindsay gave
Damn.
Gordon her number, which was actually the number to one of Lindsay's con phones. And before long,
Right.
Gordon was bombarded with hundreds of text messages that were really being sent by Lindsay. And every time he tried to meet her in person, something always came up. About a month later, real life Lindsay called Gordon at 1 a.m. in a panic and asked Gordon to come to her house. Stephanie said she had been in a terrible car wreck and was now in the hospital. So she's done this before.
Yeah,
Um,
what the
this guy got out before it got too fucking wily, but when Gordon arrived, he consoled and comforted Lindsay. Afterwards, she invited him to spend the night, which he agreed to. And then one thing led to another. And the next day, Lindsay supposedly confessed to her niece about what had happened with Gordon. Naturally, the niece became enraged. This is all made up, and
Yeah.
called Gordon on the phone to break things off. He had no idea that the voice on the other end was really Lindsay. And
Oh my God.
after that, fake Stephanie was out and real Lindsay was in, which meant Lindsay could start a relationship with Gordon. So it worked with this guy.
How fucked
Um,
of a person do you have to be like, yes, this is be content, like be okay with yourself. You know what I mean? And continue going,
well,
knowing that it's completely a ruse and it's not actually real.
and the sole motive is just to be in a fucking relationship. It's
Right.
bizarre. It's not even for money or
Yeah.
items or anything like that. It's just to get
Mhm.
a boyfriend to put skirting on your house. It's so bizarre, the length
It's
of.
ridiculous. Yeah.
After a couple of months, Lindsay told him that she was pregnant with another man's baby. And according to Gordon, because Lindsay was already so big, he couldn't tell that the pregnancy was actually a lie, which is
Oh my
earned.
Yeah. Yeah.
By
God.
this
And this
point,
Stephanie chick is like, you're supposed to be kind of my family, you bitch. Because
yeah,
that's
because
her
that was her
mom's
niece.
sister. Her mom, yeah, that's her stepniece or whatever. That's fucked.
But yeah, she wasn't even involved in any of this at all. This woman was just using her name and her picture all the time to get her weasel
Jeez.
her way into these men's lives. She would say she was pregnant. At this point, she'd also convinced him to quit his job. This is Gordon, promising to cover all of his bills herself. According to her, she had ties to some gangsters and made enough money for the both of them, performing various illegal activities for the gang.
Wow.
He believed all of this because of the
Oh my
dangerous nature.
God. Oh
um,
my God.
because of the dangerous nature of her business, Gordon said she was a potential target for one of their rival gangs. And for his own safety, Lindsay began locking Gordon inside of her house whenever she went out.
Oh my God.
This went on for almost 3 months, and
Oh my
before
God.
Gordon got fed up. Then, sensing a breakup was coming, Lindsay told him she had a miscarriage, another lie, but this made Gordon stay a while longer. Then Lindsay came up with a plan for Gordon to rob the bar where she worked. At this point, he was like, I'm out, dude. What the fuck?
Right, exactly.
Like, she didn't have any money. He's out of a job. She's like, okay, how about you rob this bar? She then tried to get him to come back by first telling him she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. Then she told him her daughter had leukemia, all lies, but none of them made him change his mind. He started receiving death threats constantly from supposed dangerous people Linsey was involved with. At this point, since she made him quit his job, right? So he's jobless, he's homeless now, and he's having a mental
Oh
breakdown.
my God.
According to Gordon, and he's receiving all these death threats, right? So according to Gordon, he'd become a paranoid wreck, afraid of his own shadow. He also became depressed and began self-harming. It was only by consulting with a family doctor that he was able to find help he desperately needed.
Yeah.
Eventually, Gordon got back on the right track and began a healthy relationship with this new woman, but Linsey wasn't quite done with Gordon just yet. She started sending threats and harassing phone messages, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. That was because Linsey had found her new victim.
I was just gonna say she found somebody else because she's not just gonna stop that fixation.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
then all of a sudden she noticed Michael, right? Because she kind
So
of was
sorry, she
stalking him.
didn't go to prison or anything because she didn't kill
Well,
them.
she was sentenced for 3 years
That's
because
like
of all of this
nothing.
conning. Yeah. Gordon told the reporter from the Sunday Post, I know how far she can push you. Like her later victims, I considered ending it all too. It was only by telling my family and doctors
Oh,
I needed help that I was able to stay strong. I know what poor Margaret and Nicola would have felt like. We can, talk about why would you do that, but
yeah.
it sounds like she was a fucking monster.
No kidding. It absolutely does sound like she's a monster. She kept this going so far. She was supposed to be this family member to Stephanie,
Hmm.
and this guy
Um,
was just looking for a companion in life. This is quite twisty-turny. This is fucked. Wow.
And good news, though, only 6 months into her sentence, Linsey was discovered in her cell gasping for air on March 16, 2016. Immediately, she was rushed to the hospital, was pronounced dead the following day. So she fucking just died.
From what?
Her official cause of death was pulmonary embolism, which is a blockage in one of the pulmonary arteries in the lung. So it sounds really painful.
Well,
And
you
she
know,
was
when you
yeah, she
rip
was
people's lives
gasping for air.
apart, I don't really, I'm sorry, I don't really feel bad.
Kind of deserved that one.
Everybody just needs to try to be the best human they can be. We all have to share this fucking planet.
She would have been
Uh,
out if she didn't die in 6 months. She would have been out in 3 years, fucking doing it again, I'm sure.
oh, absolutely.
I
Oh
just wanted to
my
mention that
God.
a joint funeral service was held at St. Miriam's Cathedral in
Oh,
Paisley on June 13th for Margaret and Nicola. They'd been described as being more best friends, were carried in the cathedral in matching caskets carried by Margaret's sons, Matthew and
and
Michael,
you
and
know,
Nicola's.
they died for no reason.
No reason. That's the most frustrating part of this whole story.
That is not how their story was supposed to end.
No, this fucking
They just
monster.
truly felt like there was no way out.
Oh, isn't that horrible that she and
Oh,
she was okay with that. She was like, perfect. They're out of my way. I can get in with Michael now. Because after
yeah.
they died, she went over there and was like, let's sleep together. In her mind, she was, oh, even perfect. I don't have to convince them to flee the country or whatever.
Oh my God. This is less work for me to do, part of the ruse.
I don't have to pretend to be Callum anymore. Perfect.
Wow.
No real human feelings there at all.
No, no. Selfish.
The caskets were covered in white lilies and pink floral wreaths that spelt mom and sister.
Oh my God.
And the family asked for donations to be made to a children's charity. In the service, it was said that Margaret devoted her whole life to caring for others. It's a cliche, but anyone who was lucky enough to know her knew it was true, and her family meant everything to her. It was said that Margaret's nature shaped her daughter Nicola's life, due in part to experience of taking care of her foster children, brothers and sisters. She wanted to protect every child she came in contact with. The difference she made to her life is apparent to everyone around her. The world is a duller place without her. Nicola was described as a smaller, feistier version of her mother. Margaret's brother William said they were best friends and were always out together. Margaret had just adopted a wee boy, and he had just bought a jacket for him the week before starting school. I'm very upset. I can't really understand it. Upon hearing about the news of Linsey Cotton's death, Margaret McDonough, brother Owen, said, "Good, she deserved worse. She should have died fucking ages ago." And that is my story.
Good fucking riddance, bitch. Bye.
No, she
Don't
should
be a
have died
shitty human, you
fucking
guys.
ages ago. I love that.
Fucking finally. Like, I've been every day I cross the calendar off just waiting for her to croak, and she just fucking doesn't. She's like a cockroach.
Oh, ugh. Cockroaches are gross.
Oh my God. That is
But yeah,
brutal. Well, don't be a shitty human and people won't talk about you like that, okay? It's just not that hard.
well, for sure, she only got 3 years. That's nothing. She'd be out fucking doing this again. It's not
Oh,
hard to get a phone.
absolutely. That's why I'm like
15,
3
whatever.
years. Come on. Just it's because she wasn't from the sidelines, she killed them.
It's her fault. That's
Wow.
like
Absolutely.
1000%. I
Absolutely.
don't
They
even
only
know how
did
that's
it
not
because
manslaughter.
exactly. They only did it because they thought they were never going to get out of this.
Well, that Gordon guy said that he almost killed himself too because of this
hmm
bitch.
And all for a relationship.
Yeah, that was her sole motive was just to get a relationship with these
And for
people. But
what? A relationship built on absolute lies. Like, you can't tell me that that was never going to come out. You think that he was just going to never think about that again?
well, you're right. I don't know. Obviously, we're not fucking crazy, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about her. She's gross and dead.
Wow. And dead and suffocated. That is it for this week. Again, if you have any tales from the inbox from the creatures. But yeah, and you can find us on Instagram, Dark Narratives Podcast. And you can also email us at darknarrativespodcast@gmail.com. And we will talk to you in
Yes.
2 weeks.
Well, in 2 weeks. Yeah.
In
Okay.
2 weeks.
And that's it for this week.
Remember, it's a dark world out there.
See you
To see you
creatures
creatures
next
next week.
week.